Hello everyone, my name's Dean, let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is May 23rd, 2025, and Bitcoin has begun its retracement as we discussed in the previous episode, okay? So we're going to go over Bitcoin's price action, where we expect to find temporary support, and what we expect to happen this weekend based off of Bitcoin's price action in the altcoin space. If that all sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. Hope everyone's having a great day. Let's get into it. So, just like we said, Bitcoin is topped, okay? And the easiest way, and this isn't complicated, I know a lot of people get confused, but very simple analysis. And I think sometimes the simpler the analysis, the more straightforward, the more likely it is. It's Occam's razor, right? It's not usually not in some arcane Elliott wave count or some random reading of the Wyckoff consolidation that you're going to find answers. A lot of times the answers in the charts are very clearly presented in terms of support and resistance. And as I've been saying for quite some time, when you're looking at Bitcoin's price action, this is the top of a 180 plus day range, so this represents resistance. One should not expect to just break it, even if it's true that this is a pure impulse, which I don't believe it is. Even if that were the case, this would have to come back here, because you're at 180 plus day resistance. You reject off of resistance, you find the liquidity at the midline of the channel, because channels always break from the midline, then you go up. But as you all know, if you follow my work, I don't even believe that that's the read. I believe that Bitcoin's looking at something like this, finding liquidity around the 60s, okay? And this is essentially the top of a distribution, Wyckoff distribution channel that's been going on for 180 plus days, changing the trend of the past 2 years from here back to here. That's it. So that's what I'm seeing in the charts. For those of you who are confused, just I put that in the beginning. So, maybe for those of you who don't watch the videos and still post, there it is. In the beginning, the simple explanation. If it's clear and it's straightforward, I think it can be simply explained. And that was the simple explanation of my analysis that I've been propounding on this channel for the past few months. All right. Now, what's next? So it seems as if you look at what we've done for the past day plus, right? Maybe 27, 30 hours, we've put in a mini distribution channel, okay? And look at your Wyckoff distribution channels. You can also count it in terms of Elliott wave corrective patterning, right? A wave, B wave, A wave, B wave, A wave, B wave, dump. So you have 3 pairs of corrective patterns. Again, your first pair, your second pair, your last pair, or your pivot as I call it, and a dump. Now you change the trend from here to there if this is indeed a corrective pattern, okay? Or sorry, indeed a distribution pattern or a consolidation changing the trend from up to down, okay? The other thing, just to reiterate what I was saying in the previous episode, is we're more likely than not to find support around 100K. Okay, so 100K was not only psychological resistance when we were below it, but now psychological resistance becomes temporary support, right? Makes sense. Everybody was trying to get 100K, and if you look at the chart, you look left. I'm not going to zoom out right now, but go ahead and look at your own charts. And by the way, if you don't have access to charts, or you feel like you don't have access to charts, you do, because TradingView, what I'm using to show you these charts, is free. Some people don't know that, but you can even get sort of the unlimited version for up to 30 days with no restrictions by just using a referral link, and the referral link for my trading view is in the description of this video. In any case, you can see that this right here, this ascending broadening wedge that we were in for quite some time, well, not that long, let's see. We were in that ascending broadening wedge for about 2 weeks, okay? And that represents wave 4 of the previous trend. Typically in Elliott wave analysis, when you're looking at an impulse, when you're looking at a 5-wave trend, the initial break of structure, or A wave, corrects to wave 4 of the previous trend. Sorry, wave 4 of the previous trend would be here. I think that's wave 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's wave 4 of wave 3. Okay, so wave 4 of the previous trend is right here. I think this is where we find temporary support around 100K. Again, previous resistance, which was the psychological resistance of 100K. Remember, it was a big deal breaking 100K. Will we break 100K? We finally broke 100K. We temporarily find support at 100K, which is confluent with this 2-week ascending broadening wedge, which was wave 4 of the third wave. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's wave 4 of 3. Does that make sense? So this is where I think we find temporary support. This is what I said in the previous video. Also, I like the look of this because you can see there's certain bit of support here. And if we do come down here and bounce, there you go. You've made your bearish reversal pattern, which is your left shoulder, your head, and your right shoulder. This is what you typically see in reversals, and it creates a rounded top. We typically see that in reversals, okay? So this is what I'm expecting. Now, we're in the trend down to come to this 100K level, okay? A lot of people think that, oh, Bitcoin's taking temporary respite and it's just gonna keep going up. No, actually, you've already broken structure. If you're paying attention, you broke structure way over here, okay? You can see this on the hourly time frame, and this is why it really pays to be able to see these. Well, one, it pays to sometimes jump down into lower time frames and read price action. Two, it pays to understand how price action moves impulsively and what a corrective pattern technically means, so that you don't think any move up is a bullish trend. This is all corrective right here. As soon as the break of trend started right here, when you went up and then completely reversed on that move up. So it took you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours to go up. It took you 2 hours to erase that. That tells you all you need to know. So the initial break of structure was here, boom, and this is just a continuation. So basically, you're looking at an A, B, C. That's what it looks like to me, okay? And now C wave is impulsive by definition, so you're going to get wave 1. Here, let's put this in properly. This is what you're going to get, more likely than not. Something like this, okay? This next move is going to be the biggest one because it's going to be wave 3. And then that's going to take you almost to your target, and then your final target is going to be around 100, right above 100K in my estimation. So small time frame, this is what I'm seeing for Bitcoin, right? And if you measure this with your trend-based extension, you can see you mathematically get what you need. And what do I mean by that? Well, the minimum extension for wave 1, retracement of wave 2 of an Elliott wave impulse is 2236 right here. That's the minimum extension. So a lot of times, just, if you can backtest this yourselves, if you're trying to identify a proper pure impulsive move and you have the beginnings of that kind of impulsive move, if you pull wave 1, retracement of wave 2, you typically find the final target, the final resting place to support, or the final target, let's say, because it can go up and down, obviously, up or down, obviously. The final target of that impulse is usually the 2236 extension. Okay, that's a minimum. And why does that work? That's because the math just works out that wave 1 retraces 62%. Wave 2 retraces 62% of wave 1. Wave 3 goes 1618 to 2 Fibonacci extensions of wave 1 retracement wave 2. And then wave 3 is typically the 618 of wave, the inverse 618 of wave 4. Okay? So, yeah, not to get into the weeds, but anyway, there's a high likelihood. What I'm trying to say is this. There's a high likelihood mathematically already that this target is our intermediate target for this move in particular, for Bitcoin, okay? And this was what I was saying in the previous episode. Expect to find temporary support here around 100K. People who are not very chart savvy are going to think this is the final resting place, especially because of what's likely to happen next. Okay, so this is actually what is going to feed the altcoin market during the weekend. Long weekend, we typically see this in my experience of trading for, I don't know, 5-6 years now. I've seen in the cryptocurrency space, long weekends typically lend well to altcoin moves. I don't know why. It's just in my personal experience that I've experienced that to be true. So Memorial Day is not a it is a holiday. It's a bank holiday. So the traditional markets are not trading. I believe that altcoins, once Bitcoin comes here and starts to put in this corrective wave up, right? And the market participants get inspired by a move up, not really sussing out the corrective nature of this impulsive move, right? They're going to think that it's on. The bull market is on and Bitcoin's going to the moon, and a lot of altcoins off of the steam of Bitcoin simply going up and to the right are going to make massive moves. And this is what I'm going to talk about for the rest of the video. So the altcoins are likely to give a big weekend for that reason. And this is what I was saying in the previous video. Now let's look at the total 3 market cap, which is, again, all the altcoins in the cryptocurrency space minus Ethereum. So all the cryptocurrency market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum gives you the total 3. Okay, and what do we have here? So I've already updated crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service clients of this chart yesterday. And this is likely what is happening. Let's see, something like this. So you're getting a move up and out for altcoins, and this is likely to continue. Let's put this dashed. Okay, this is what we've gotten so far. So you've been matriculating up and out of this bull flag. Okay, and this is typical. If you look at a Wyckoff accumulation, you'll see that the phase D and E comprise a price action that looks kind of like this. It's an up and to the right sort of sign of strength. They call it an SOS, sign of strength, up and out. And then you finally get a breakout. So I think what you're going to see in altcoins, and what you're seeing currently, is some sort of consolidation at these levels and then your first move up. Okay, and so that is what I'm seeing in the altcoin space. And again, it's off of the steam of Bitcoin using the 100K level as temporary support, going back up, forming that right triangle or that right shoulder for our bearish reversal pattern. And then once trading resumes on Tuesday, I believe, that's when people get sort of the cold splash in the face of, oh wow, this is more than meets the eye. And everybody who's been calling for much lower sees that move begin. I think it happens at the beginning of trading on Monday evening or Tuesday, something like that. And the levels that I think we come up to, probably back to where we're at right now, around 109. Okay, just given how right shoulders form, you can get a right shoulder that's a flat correction or a zigzag, but it can go, yeah, around 109, or it could stop even at 106. But in any case, you're going to get a move up, and altcoins are going to use that. Last but not least, let's look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. And remember what Bitcoin dominance is. It's a measure of Bitcoin's dominance vis-a-vis the rest of the cryptocurrency market. If Bitcoin dominance is going up, that means Bitcoin is dumping and altcoins are dumping even more, or Bitcoin's pumping and altcoins aren't doing anything. Bitcoin dominance is going down, alt season. Bitcoin dominance is going down, that means altcoins are gaining against Bitcoin in market cap. And this is what you're seeing. We've been saying on this channel for the past week that it's very likely that we come up to this pink box and find resistance in the Bitcoin dominance. And that's exactly what you see. We came up to the pink box, and now what you see is a consolidation or a mini distribution, taking the trend of Bitcoin dominance from here back down here. And this is on the brink of happening. So basically, after Bitcoin comes down to the 100K level, thereabouts, and then we start getting that final corrective move up, Bitcoin dominance will continue to proceed downwards, giving us the big altcoin weekend that we've been waiting for years, not an exaggeration. And the first target, in my estimation, for this move is the following. I think it's down here around 54-55%. And the reason I say that is because on the higher time frames, if you look, you can see that there's a resistance that Bitcoin dominance had been forming for many years, since 2016 to present day. So about 10 years of resistance, right? And we had been respecting that, but we wicked above it. We wicked above it in the summer of last year, so about a year ago. And so when Bitcoin dominance now starts coming down, it's going to temporarily bounce off of that previous resistance before breaking it. So that's why I think the move for Bitcoin dominance in this move that we may get this weekend already is coming down to around the 55% area. And I'm just going to mark this off right here. And also, confluent with that read or that thesis is the fact that your rising wedge pattern that you broke down, retest, has its target exactly there, right? Remember, rising wedges are patterns that typically break up or down and target the base of the wedge. So this is a breakdown of a rising wedge. So the base of the wedge would be the target. Again, it would be around the 55% mark. So that's what I'm seeing in the crypto market. Hope this was helpful. If this was useful, like, share, and subscribe. If you got value, consider tipping me by Venmo, Litecoin, Cash App. If you want one-on-one services, consider joining my crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service. You can sign up for that at the pinned comment below as well. It's $150 a month. I'm trying to keep the cost down because I want it to be affordable for more people than not. And we go one-on-one up to 2 hours every month, and I give you up to 5 assets to analyze, chart, and levels for buying and selling on a monthly basis. And obviously you have access to me emailing me and discussing anything about crypto and portfolio management, risk management, all that stuff. So that is all at the pinned comment below, guys. Hope you have a great holiday weekend if you're in the States. If you're not, have a great weekend nonetheless.
Arrived at the fork in the road, could turn back, repeat the same story, or march forward and embrace change and reflect upon his glory. I'm a selfish man, therein lies the whole problem. Torn between my actions and the will of my heart. I had to take it all apart to see where I stood as a man, to depart from this world and leave it in his hands. Come on. Yeah. Top.
looks like I'm heading for the gold, y'all. Touring on a pothole road, y'all. I get it even if I didn't fit in, winning right up to the end, and like I didn't even know, y'all. I have Pop's genetics, working hard never to get it, like shit I better than letting life get the best of my efforts. Instead I dedicated to bettering my steps, measuring investments, watch me do it to the death, y'all. Running.